that you make it, and maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Yeah. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking.
Hello and welcome to Whiskey Tangent Podcast, Whiskey Madness 2024, The Road to the Final Pour, a 5-week-long blind tasting tournament featuring 18 whiskeys from around the world. I'm Scott, and joining me as always is Ed.
Hey, everybody.
And back refereeing once again this year, the Whiskey Sherpa himself, Gabe.
Hi, friends.
As always, our venue is the miraculous Whiskey Tangent Arena in bustling downtown Marlton, New Jersey, better known as my breakfast bar, where the crowd is simply apoplectic with anticipation because today we're expanding our normal Madness preview short into a full-fledged Madness episode, sort of a pregame show, plus hosting a couple of Wildcard qualifier rounds, which we'll get to in a moment. But first, Ed's going to get the tournament started off right by telling us about the bracket configuration we decided on this year, after which we'll reveal all of this year's participants.
Thanks, Scott. So we've been sticking with the same overall theme for a few tournaments, and that is to group the brackets by proof. It's just worked well for a number of reasons. First of all, in the early brackets, it's hard to distinguish what the whiskeys are by proof alone, where before, when they were by like themes, sometimes you get 120 proof against an 80, and you're like, well, I know which is which.
Yeah.
So now that the brackets are grouped by the percentage of alcohol in each bottle, we're able to kind of keep them in context until we get into the later round. So the first bracket will be the 80 to 89 proof bracket.
We've never done 80 to 89.
This is a new thing we've done because under the subtitle of Ed's a bitch right now. And
Did we start it at 90 before?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
90 to 100?
But we
Okay.
realized that we've never really taken a look at, is there any flavorful whiskeys in the 80 proof bracket that might make some noise moving forward?
Surely.
We have the 90 to 99 proof bracket, the 100 to 109 proof bracket, and the 110 to 119. I'll start off by telling you what the 4 whiskeys that we have chosen, the committee has chosen to represent the 80 to 89 proof bracket.
All right.
Now, the 4 seed takes the most explaining. It's Kings Creek Black Label Tennessee Whiskey, an 80 proof on the dot, made in Princeton, Minnesota. It is a distillery that is 100% licensed by the Total Wine and is only found in Total Wine stores. So it's easy to find if you live anywhere near Total Wine, but it's not something that's in every liquor store.
Right.
Would this be a Spirits Direct selection?
Yes.
It is.
Exactly.
Yes.
Gabe. Exactly.
Familiar with that brand name.
Yep. That's the 4 seed because we don't think much of it, to be honest, but we'll see. We like to have some upstart underdogs.
You got to start somewhere.
That's why they play the games.
Now,
right.
The 3rd seed is a whiskey represented by a distillery that we like a lot, New Liberty Distillery in Philadelphia. The Kinsey Cabernet Cask Finish whiskey. It comes in at an 86 proof. Now, the 2nd seed is a little controversial, mainly because it's very, very cheap. It is it's made by a monster company. So the Benchmark Top Floor Bourbon, made by Buffalo Trace in Frankfort, Kentucky, also coming in at 86 proof.
It is the top floor. So.
It is top floor.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be very flavorful, and we'll make the determination of that.
We'll see about that.
I mean, even a top floor has a bottom shelf.
And that's right. And the top seed, a brand that anybody who drinks bourbon knows, is a Basil Hayden Toast from Jim Beam, Claremont, Kentucky. It is an 80 proof, as most of the Basil Hayden expressions are.
Yeah.
And so that's the first bracket. Kings Creek Black Label at 4, Kinsey Cabernet Cask Finish at 3, the Benchmark Top Floor at 2, and the Basil Hayden Toast as the top seed, as I think they feel they deserve, being who they are.
Yeah. So, Gabe, you're hearing this list for the first time. What do you think of the 80 proof bracket?
Interesting. I mean, like you prefaced earlier, we are in our whiskey evolution kind of above 80 proofs.
Yeah.
But you do find some flavorful stuff in the lower proof bottles occasionally.
Especially Irish whiskey, right? I mean, I think we all have enjoyed some 80 proof Irish whiskeys over the years. So
Yeah,
I think we automatically shift our expectations to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't find many Irishes that are above 80, 85, 86 anywhere. So
I think 92 you're doing a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one more question before you go on. Again, these are all whiskeys that have not previously been in the Madness tournament.
Correct.
Okay.
We've never repeated.
No, we don't repeat whiskeys. In
Just
the
so
thing.
your listeners are aware of that.
We may have covered them on the podcast before, but they were never in the tournament before.
Okay. Keep it fresh that way. That's good.
Yeah. Any of these pique your interest? The Kinsey Cabernet Cask, the top floor, or the toast? I'm leaving the other one off right now.
I've had the Kinsey before. I don't think I've had the Cabernet cask, but that's always a flavorful bottling.
Yeah, because it's finished, that might have a little bit of an advantage, maybe? Or maybe it's a disadvantage. I don't really know.
Maybe.
Sometimes the finishes can be off-putting, so you just have to find
you should
out.
be off-putting because you're fat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shade.
Where's your ferns, by the way?
Yeah. Thanks, Zach Galifianakis.
Scott, so tell us about the 90 proof bracket.
All right. So we have 5 whiskeys in this bracket right now, and Gabe's going to help us whittle it down to 4.
I'm honored.
So we have a pigtail play-in for this bracket.
That's right.
Okay.
It's our first wildcard qualifier that I teased in the intro. And they're right in front of you, Gabe. The number 1 neat glasses.
What those
here.
are in those
Right,
glasses?
you have
Yeah.
A and B, as you can see on the bottom of the glass. Okay. So he doesn't know what these are yet.
Right.
And we hid the bottles, so he wouldn't know until right now. First, we have the Blue Note Rye, which is 93 proof from BR Distilling in Memphis, Tennessee.
They got me perked.
Yeah, and we have the Cairo Malted Rye, 94.4 proof from the Cairo Distillery in Iso, Cairo, Finland.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
So it couldn't be more different. A Tennessee rye and a malted rye from
Finnish rye.
Finland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe.
No pressure here.
No,
huh?
no pressure. So the one that you pick will make it into the bracket.
And the one that you don't goes home. And if it's the Cairo, it's a long trip back to the far reaches on the edge of Scandinavia.
All right. So I guess the whole process will begin with the nosing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which glass they're in either.
Yeah, only I know.
Okay, I'm nosing glass A. It's got a bit of a banana, nice fruity, malty, bit oaky, maybe.
Interesting.
So I nose first, then taste.
You can do whatever you want. Taste in any order.
All you have to do is tell us which one you like best, and that's the one that goes in the tournament.
That's right.
Glass B has a bit more sweetness to it, so I'm sort of going to narrow it down, but we'll go with the taste and find out.
Yeah, he's sipping glass A.
It's very tasty. It's mild. Not overly burning as a rye would tend to be. It's got a nice, gentle Kentucky hug in my throat down there. It's lingering quite well. Not overly bearing or burning.
Right. Or possibly a Scandinavian hug. We don't know.
That's right. Well, the other one's from Memphis, Tennessee.
So it would be a Tennessee hug anyway.
It's very gentle. It's nice. It's a good rye.
Yeah.
Let me cleanse the palate and go with B. Talk amongst yourselves.
No, man, it's all you.
No, take your time.
We'll edit this down.
Yeah, we'll get this to where we want it. I want a sticky bun soap or whatever that is over there. So bad. I just saw that.
Yeah.
Gabe brought like this nutted.
Hello.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is. It's like so big. It's like a Danish ring.
Yeah.
Glass B has a bit more of a sweet butteriness about it.
Interesting.
With now that it's getting to the back of my throat, it's got a touch more heat. It's more complex. It's more all over the back of my throat, and it's got more burn to it.
Stop it, Ed.
Would you grow up? Jesus.
We wouldn't have a podcast if Ed did that.
If you don't hurry up, I'm going to be on the back of your throat.
No, it's a lot different. It's got more sweetness. It's got more complexity. Maybe a little more aged.
Okay.
Did you disclose the aging?
I did not. Only the proof and where it came from. We'll get into the details on the next episode.
Sure. Just tell us which one you like better.
It's got a bit of a more medicinal quality about it, but not in a bad way.
That was B. Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, I'm going back in for the second taste, and decisions are coming soon.
3:28 a.m.
I'm going to go with B. I just think it's got more depth, more maturity, a little bit more of a distinctive taste about it.
I'm going to say that he went with the Cairo just because I don't think he's ever tasted anything quite like it.
Okay, so B was the Cairo. It has made it through. It does not have to take that long flight home.
I know,
to
not
Finland.
yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I liked it. There was something just distinctive and different about it that I've never tried before. It's nice.
The Blue Note Rye is a delicious whiskey, but it's very traditional. You know, if you had that with 5 other American ryes, I think it would just fit in nicely.
Yeah.
The Cairo is not like that.
Yeah.
No, it's got its place, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's rye friendly and basic in a good way.
All right. Well, I mean, Blue Note's not going to go home disappointed because we have another expression of Blue Note coming later.
Yeah.
So the 4th seed ends up being the Cairo Malted Rye.
Right. The underdog from far away.
That's right. So the number 3 seed is the Koval 4-grain, single-barrel whiskey, 94 proof out of Chicago, Illinois. The number 2
Here's where it gets interesting. everybody.
seed is the Elmer T. Lee Bourbon.
Wow.
90 proof from Buffalo Trace. We've never even talked about Elmer T. Lee, which is a very popular bourbon.
We haven't drank it for a decade.
Yeah, it's been a very long time.
But is that an unattainability factor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's always allocated.
I
You can't get
fell
it.
into a bottle up at Nash for like $60.
Yeah, nice.
I said, "Hey, Billy, anything interesting in the back?" He goes, "I ain't got an Lee." I go, "I can buy it." He goes, "Yeah, you want to buy it? Sure." I said, "Well, what is it?" He goes, "I think it's $59."
There you go.
And that's what I got it for.
That's awesome. That's why we go to Benash.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we go to Benash.
And then the number 1 seed in the 90 bracket,
A whiskey you might have heard of.
yes, is the Weller 12-year bourbon, also 90 proof, also from Buffalo Trace.
Also hard to find.
Also delicious.
Yes.
Have you had any of those? Besides, you just had the Cairo.
I know I've had the Weller years ago when it was attainable.
Yeah.
But
Was it the 12-year? Probably not.
What's the reserve? The
Special reserve.
Special reserve, the base.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much.
the base one, yeah.
I probably had that.
Yeah.
It was good.
Ever had Elmer T. Lee before?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. And the Koval 4-grain, we've been saving this for something, and I said, let's put it in here.
I've also had Koval, but I don't believe I've had that one
No.
either.
This it's a weird mash bill. We'll get to that when we get
Yeah,
to
so
it.
that has a weird mash bill. The Cairo has a little bit of a twisted mash bill, being malted rye.
Yeah.
And,
Maybe that's what I was tasting.
Yeah, maybe malted rye. and
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah. So now Ed's going to tell you about the 100 to 109 proof bracket.
Right. For the 4th seed of the 100 to 109 proof bracket, the Blue Note brand comes back with a very interesting expression. Blue Note Crossroads Bourbon, exactly 100 proof from BR Distilling, Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
The 3rd seed, another mega brand, Jack Daniels Triple Mash Whiskey, another 100 proof. Jack Daniels Distilling, Lynchburg, Tennessee. The 2nd seed, another monster brand, Four Roses Single Barrel Bourbon, 100, again 100 proof, Four Roses Distillery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. So you basically have an up-and-coming brand in Blue Note, then you have Jack Daniels and Four Roses, two pillars of the whiskey community.
Absolutely.
The big boys are there.
And then another big boy of the whiskey industry, which not many people stop and consider as being one, is MGP. And they give us the Remus Repeal Reserve Series 7 bourbon. Again, 100 proof. So all 4 of these are the exact same proof. And this is from MGP, as I said, from Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Yeah.
So Blue Note Crossroads is 4. Jack Daniels Triple Mash Whiskey is 3. The Four Roses Single Barrel Bourbon, which me and Scott, probably the number 1 whiskey that we talk about when people say, what's the best bargain for the buck? I think we say Four Roses Single Barrel all the time.
Yup.
And then the unique one-off expression of a Remus Repeal Reserve Series 7, also 100 proof MGP. It's going to be a freaking battle. Anyone's a winner here, man. All 4 of these. I know Crossroads is the underdog from Blue Note, but they're all going to come out swinging.
They are.
I'm excited to get into that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big boys coming to play here.
Definitely.
And don't count out the Blue Note. I know how much you guys love that stuff.
Oh, it's good, man.
The Crossroads is delicious.
Yes.
I might go out on the limb here and say that they might have the best chance of a 4 seed to upset the bracket, or at least upset a very, very strong Four Roses Single Barrel. It's a wild card whiskey to me, the Blue Note Crossroads, for sure.
All right, so now I'm going to do the last bracket, the 110 plus. The 4th seed is the Sagamore Spirits Barrel Select Rye. This is 110 proof from Sagamore Spirits in Baltimore, Maryland. This is a Benash store pick.
So you know it's good.
Yeah. The number 3 is our second wild card qualifier, number 2. And what we have here for Gabe to taste and pick which one goes in. 2 different barrel craft spirits expressions, the Ambarana Bourbon and the Seagrass Rye.
I got my work cut out for me here with those 2. I can tell right now.
Have you ever had either of these?
For the barrels, I might have had the seagrass. Isn't there like a lot of different variations of the seagrass out there?
Yeah, well, the gray label, which we did 2 weeks ago, and the regular Seagrass, and then there's a gold label, but we never had that one for because that's like $500.
So I'm essentially going in blind for both of these as well.
Tell them the proof, Scott.
Proof of the Ambarana is 116.42, and the Barrel Seagrass is 120.38.
So close enough where you're on a straight sip, you're not going to notice the 4-point difference.
Yeah.
Yes, please extinguish any cigarettes right now. The high proof, it could be disastrous.
All right, we will, because it's not 1991 anymore.
I don't have the ashtrays.
That's right. Like we have standing ashtrays with like their furniture.
Please put your chairs in upright and locked position. We are landing the plane soon. Is it time for me to nose?
Hey,
and drink?
It is.
Hey, I smoked on a plane. That's how old I am.
Wow.
Well, Ed, you're smoking right now,
Yeah, that,
too.
like snakes on a plane with smokes on a plane.
Are you nosing? Oh, you are.
My skin looks like I've been smoked.
Spit roasted over a fire. Is that what you mean?
So we start calling you Jerky?
We already do.
All right, let me nose this.
All right.
Please, this is science, goddammit.
So, well, you can do it while we talk.
Gabe's using his nose to nose it, as you do.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Once again, these high-proof spirits are in the neat glass, so it is diffusing some of the ethanol, and Gabe knows how to use the glass properly.
Yeah. For Glass A, the high proof is not coming through on the nose, to be honest. It's very mild. It's very unmenacing.
Interesting.
Light oakiness, baking spice. Nothing's really jumping forward to me on that in the nose, though. So
All right.
I'm going with the B.
Okay.
12 seconds later.
The B quickly springs up with a pineapple upside-down cake.
What?
Oh,
That's
wow.
fabulous.
Sweetness, baking spice.
Well, it is barrel, so.
Oh, right. Maybe it does just make you start spouting things like that. Oh, my God. It tastes like Nantucket pears. And
Pineapple upside down cake.
right.
The northern Maui pineapples.
Oh, northern Maui, not the southern
right.
Maui.
Right, the volcanic ash really puts
right.
together a nice, better piece of fruit.
Are you getting the ash? You ash?
I was going to say, could you get your ash going and answer the question?
Going for the taste.
Okay.
Oh, my God. You haven't tasted that yet?
No, it was just nosing.
I'm about to waterboard him with it. If he doesn't even...
Oh, my God. Oh, you were in the back of his throat in the other bracket. Jesus.
Once again, Glass A does not taste overly high proof. It's not bad. It's nice and sweet, a bit astringent. It's a bit tart in a way, but not harsh. Baked fruit or toasted fruit. It's got a cooked quality about it in a way. Going with B.
The good thing about this is, like, one barrel is going to make it in, right?
Oh, yeah,
So-
barrel's coming in. So.
Yeah.
And that immediately kind of puts the bracket on notice.
B comes up with honey right off the bat. Spicy honey.
Hot honey.
Hot honey, yes. And again, with the fruit, clover. It's got a quality of a nice early spring day. Flowers blooming. Oh, there's a spicy zing at the end on the finish on B. I'm going with B.
B.
It's going to be B, yes.
And
All right.
It's good. It's really tasty. It's
So-
interesting.
I predict he went Amburano cast.
Okay. And Glass B was... the Amburana.
Yes. Yes.
So the Amburana goes through and the seagrass goes home.
And we kind of wanted that because the seagrass has kind of been around a little bit and the Amburano's
Yeah, and we just did one on the seagrass anyway. So
Again,
Yeah.
they're both good, but the Amburana just has this distinctiveness of
Nothing tastes like
does.
it, man.
Yeah, it's
wild.
It's very good.
Get your chunk of wood out and show it to him later.
I will.
Show him how unique it is.
Yeah, it looks like a duck's penis. All right, so that was the number 3 seed, Amburana Bourbon from Barrel. The number 2 seed is a Maker's Mark Small Batch Select Bourbon. It's 109.9, so a little controversial that we put it in the 110 plus bracket,
Right.
but we rounded up.
We went to the committee and then we realized that we could do whatever we want and then we do what we wanted.
because you are the committee.
But also, I will say that this whiskey is a very special whiskey to me
Yeah, it's Maker's Mark, Loretto, Kentucky, and a Benash store pick.
because a friend of mine, Jason, they did it as a fundraiser for his wife who was battling cancer, and they raised almost $5,000 for cancer research.
Nice.
So I thought it would be good to honor her by including, and we're going to see how it does as a second seed in this bracket.
That's right. And the number 1 seed in the 110 plus bracket, the Old Carter Rye Batch 11. It's 115.6 proof from the Old Carter Whiskey Company of Louisville, Kentucky.
Right. There's a couple reasons this goes in. It's got a mythical reputation. Mm-hmm. It's the most expensive bottle that I've ever bought for the podcast.
Yep.
It was super good. And that bracket is off the hook right now to me.
Sagamore Rye.
If the Sagamore wasn't a Benash pick, I'd say it doesn't have a chance.
Right.
But because it's a Benash pick, that means it's got to have some strong flavors.
and the Barrel Amburana and the Maker's Mark Benash store pick and the Old Carter Rye.
Right.
Gabe, what are you thinking?
Again, I don't really have much familiarity with the 4 picks, but I'll tell you what, the Alhambra or Ambar.
Amburana.
And I'd like the taste. It's highly distinctive, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that goes on for quite a few rounds.
All right, that's it. That's our pregame show and our wild card qualifying round.
Tune in next week when you'll have round 1 featuring the 80 and the 89 proof bracket and the 110 to the 119. Gabe, thank you for tasting them and bringing them in for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me in for the drink-in bottles. That was exciting.
Yeah, it was a surprise for Gabe. He didn't know he was going to do that.
Well, as the referee, sometimes you don't get to drink at all. So if Ed and I don't tie, you don't get to drink.
Right.
Oh, I
And
drink.
so-
Don't worry.
That's true, but not on air to make a decision, is my point. So now you've made 2 decisions already, and we haven't even started.
You like me.
Okay, Sally Field.
So for the Whiskey Tangent podcast, we're super excited about this year's tournament. Tell your friends, your grandparents, neighbors, and tune in next week
Lovers.
when the excitement starts. Yeah, this is great. It's post-coitus when you want to kill the mood. It's perfect for that. So after you guys, 9, 12 minutes, whatever, put us on and just ride out the night until you fall asleep. There you go. But you won't because it'll be that exciting.
All right, later, everyone.
Take care. Cheers.
Take that, make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it.